Welcome to the Buddhist Temple of Toledo. Please be seated and turn to page 2 of the literature book. Gata of atonement, all evil karma ever committed by sins of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me, sins of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me, sins of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts. Now I atone for it all. Nikaya 3 Refuges. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. This precious human life, rarely encountered, is easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, may I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly. Mahayana Refuge. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. Invocation of the lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers, for the lineage of teachers before them. I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened, may their vows be completely realized, and may I cultivate these perfections with their guidance. 7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings. Generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred. being close to some and distant from others. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness and the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this. Our reading today is on page 11 of the reading book, Song of Zazen. Song of Zazen. Do people have the reading book? No. Oh, okay. I will be reading the reading today. Song of Zazen. All beings by nature are Buddha, as ice by nature is water. Apart from water there is no ice. Apart from beings no Buddha. How sad that people ignore the near and search for truth afar, like someone in the midst of water crying out in thirst, like a child of a wealthy home wandering among the poor. Lost on dark paths of ignorance, we wander through the 6 worlds from dark path to dark path. When shall we be freed from birth and death? Oh, the Zazen of the Mahayana, to this the highest praise. Devotion, repentance, training, the many paramitas all have their source in Zazen. Those who try Zazen even once wipe away beginningless crimes. Where are all the dark paths then? The Pure Land itself is near. Those who hear this truth even once and listen with a grateful heart, treasuring it, revering it, gain blessings without end. Much more, those who turn about and bear witness to self-nature that is no nature, go far beyond mere doctrine. Here, effect and cause are the same. The way is neither 2 nor 3. With form that is no form, going and coming, we are never astray. With thought that is no thought, singing and dancing are the voice of the law. How boundless and free is the sky of Samadhi. How bright and full the full moon of wisdom. Truly, is anything missing now? Nirvana is right here before our eyes. This very place is the lotus land. This very body, the Buddha. Okay. And you will now stand for the Heart Sutra on page 4 of the book that you do have. Great Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva practicing deep Prajna Paramita clearly saw that all five skandhas are empty, transforming all suffering and distress. Shariputra form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form, form is exactly emptiness, emptiness exactly form, sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all things are essentially empty, not born, not destroyed, not stained, not pure, without loss, without gain. Therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no color, sound, smell, taste, touch, object of thought, no seeing, and so on, to no thinking, no ignorance, and also no ending of ignorance, and so on, to no old age and death, and also no ending of old age and death, no suffering, cause of suffering, cessation, path, no wisdom, and no attainment, since there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva lives by Prajna Paramita with no hindrance in the mind, no hindrance, and therefore no fear, far beyond delusive thinking. Right here is nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future live by Prajna Paramita, attaining Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Therefore know that Prajna Paramita is the great sacred mantra, the great vivid mantra, the unsurpassed mantra, the supreme mantra, which completely removes all suffering. This is truth, not mere formality. Therefore set forth the Prajna Paramita mantra. Set forth this mantra and proclaim Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parsam, Gate, Bodhisvaha, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parsam, Gate, Bodhisvaha, Gate, Gate, Para, Gate, Parsam, Gate, Bodhisvaha. Enme Jibu Kanangyo Kanzeyan Namu Butsuyo Butsu Enyo Butsu En Boko So En Jo Raku Gajo Chonen Kanzeyan Bonen Kanzeyan En Ju Shin Jushin Ki Nen Nen Fu Rishin Kanzeya Namu Butsuyo Butsu En Yo Butsu En Kopo So En Jo Raku Gajo Shonen Kanzeya Bonen Kanzeya Nen Nen Jushin Ki Nen Nen Fu Rishin absorbing world sounds awakens a Buddha right here. This Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices in the light. Recall this in the dark. Recall this moment after moment. The true heart arises time after time. There is nothing but this absorbing world sounds awakens a Buddha right here. This Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices in the light. Recall this in the dark. Recall this moment after moment. The true heart arises time after time. There is nothing but this absorbing world sounds awakens a Buddha right here. This Buddha, the source of compassion. This Buddha receives only compassion. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, just compassion. Thus the pure heart always rejoices in the light. Recall this in the dark. Recall this moment after moment. The true heart arises time after time. There is nothing but this. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing right here now. The wind blows, waves fall on the shore, and Guanyin finds us in the dark and broken roads. We give thanks to all the ancestors of meditation in the still halls, the unknown women and men, centuries of enlightened women and men, sunshine and leaves and birdsong. Let wisdom go to every corner of the house. Let people have joy in each other's joy. We especially dedicate these merits to Ilya for their safety and strength, Aunt Marie, Shirley, Wayne, Mandy, may they have peace and healing, Aunt Angie, Sally Collins, Frank at the time of their death. We especially dedicate these merits to our sister in the Dharma, Sarah Tenkakir. May the karma of her birth, life, and death be as the lustrous pearl shimmering undisturbed in the vast sea. May the mistakes she made be forgiven. May the good that she did continue to flourish. And may the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas guide all sentient beings to accomplish the Buddha way together. Throughout space. Children and Dharma school teachers may go to the red room. Everyone else, please prepare for zazen. position. The first and third rows will turn to the right. Second and back rows will turn to the left. Please follow the person in front of you. We will now recite the Sound Covenant. We, the Daishin Kokuji Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others. Please be seated for this morning's talk. Sit comfortably and so that you can see the teachers. Gata on opening the sutra.
See each other. The first Sunday of our non-Ango. It gives a good opportunity to notice and appreciate the non-linear progression of the Dharma. When we begin practice, perhaps we imagine, or without examining, we assume that like some undergrad survey class, you'll get a syllabus and there'll be a first, second, third, fourth lecture, and one will build upon the next. The knowledge will effortlessly accumulate. And at the end, you simply spit it all back and move on to the next class. And these classes, synchronize. 1 and 2 is prerequisite to 3, which is prerequisite to 4, which then leads to the degree, which then leads to the job, which then leads to happiness, and then, right? But of course, real life is not this way. Real life is not a linear progression. It is simply not reasonable in any way to expect every time you go to the gym, you can add another plate to the bar. It's just not going to happen, I mean, you can try that, but gravity will win. Gravity will win. So then, okay, then is it just random? Who cares? Nothing means anything, just whatever. No, that's a cop-out too. So this non-linear Dharma, right, this business of quote-unquote practice, improving, deepening, integrating, realizing, all these words, what is the reality that they point to? After all, Hakuin says in our well-selected reading, all beings by nature are Buddha, as ice by nature is water. Apart from water, there is no ice. Apart from beings, no Buddha. What effort does the water have to do? Well, it turns out for humans, for Homo sapiens, it takes some doing to actually take the backward step and to realize what we are and to realize who we are. And even to realize what it means to practice the Dharma. This is not a one-and-done thing. We were having some very interesting conversation today in the Jikai formation class about this very topic. The first pure precept, doing no harm, right? Oh yeah, I got that. Do you? I mean, I hope at the most gross base level, yes, you should and you ought to, but really, what else is this pointing to? If you really critically interrogate the ways in which you cause suffering for yourself, and if you really don't turn away and actually pay attention, there's plenty to do. There's plenty of work. There's plenty of practice that needs to happen there, right? It simply won't do to say, well, I'm not a mass murderer after all. You can always pull the what about maneuver. Well, what about that person? That's really bad. I'm nothing like that. And that won't cut it. That's just negotiating with your own suffering. That's just haggling for your own imprisonment with a rhetorical maneuver that's quite tepid at best. If you really, really dig into not doing no harm, you'll come to a point where you feel like, I really need to work on this and work with this. And perhaps for a time, that particular precept is really kind of speaking to you. And so you'll engage with it and you'll think about it and you'll get some deeper appreciation. We could even say some insights. And please don't confuse insights with awakening. They're not the same thing. Insights are lovely and important and necessary, but there's no amount of insights that you can collect that will suddenly tip the scale to awakening. It doesn't work like that. Awakening is its own thing. However, you may have insight into how you imprison yourself with this suffering that turns out is quite optional. And you work on this, and you make some progress with this, and then other things rise to the fore. Or we more likely simply forget about it, Life carries on, other calamities and dramas, the light show flickers before us, and we lose track, we lose touch, we move on. And then perhaps assume, yeah, we have that, we got that. And then I promise you, there'll come some catalyzing moment. Oh, shit. it's this one again. Don't be sad when that happens. Celebrate. The fact that you can recognize, wait a minute, I'm doing this again, means your vows are working. It means you're noticing. It's a good thing. It's the best thing. I know it's icky. I know it's uncomfortable. I know it might, in some minds give rise to shame and embarrassment and all this, but please just get over that. It's good. Thank goodness you're noticing, huh? Good for you. Good that you're noticing. Now again, we can take it up anew with the mind of a beginner, with the mind of a complete beginner. Oh, really? Not harming myself. Wow, what a concept. How could that be? How is that? Whoa, what is that now? Right? And the process repeats. Many of us are highly attuned, or I should say we are more readily attuned to not overtly harming others. Not all, to be sure, but it tends to come a little more clearly to us. But this business of not harming ourselves is a lot slipperier. Slipperier. It's more slippery. Because you see, there's like a little trade we make. There's some payoff you get for this particular kind of suffering. It reinforces your non-functional but well-known sense of self, et cetera, right? And so we actually have to renounce that. We have to fast from those ways of being in the world that simply don't serve us. Not only do they not serve us, they actually harm us. Please don't argue for your own ignorance. Don't. Simply don't. It may be the case that you're encountering an aspect of yourself that you are seemingly helpless to do anything about. That's good. That's a lot better than not recognizing that it's happening. When you can actually recognize, I am helpless before this. This is progress. You have properly located yourself. Does that make sense? And in this proper location, what do you then do? You reach out for help with Sangha, with friends, colleagues, therapists, whatever it takes. Whatever the area is, it doesn't even matter. Maybe you're just a mess financially. You have just no idea how to handle finances. It's like not something that was in part of your upbringing, or maybe it was way too much a part of your upbringing, thank you, or whatever the case may be. And at a certain point, it may become apparent for your household that, gosh, things like a budget actually matter. How do we do that? Well, you can go and study it. You can learn it. There are books. There are financial advisors. It makes sense, yeah? If you've got a little funny feeling like, oh, I'm not sure, get checked out. Get checked out. Don't argue for that funny feeling, well, it's fine. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Go get it. Go look. You know, I'm sure you know somebody in your life who's like, no, I don't go to doctors. You know what I mean? Why? Well, they have their reasons. But ultimately, if it's someone you love, I don't know if anyone has had this particular kind of suffering, but someone you love deeply, you can see clearly needs to go to the doctor. Like that lump is concerning, but they're like not going to go because they're too scared. And you can't, can you relate? You know what I mean? Of course, it's that person's body. They have a choice. That's how this works. You can try to influence and help. But at the very least, when it's yourself, I'll make the appointment. Call a financial advisor. Think about looking at your diet. All these mundane things, they're not that mundane really, but these worldly, everyday concerns. But it's like that too in the Dharma. It's very much like that even in the deepest realms of the human experience. There was never a great composer or improviser that played and then said, oh, I'm done. Did it. There's always the next composition, right? There's always a further way to express that art. That's why you're an artist. And the Dharma is like this. The Dharma is very much like this. I promise you, your practice and progress in the Dharma will not be a linear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It might look like that at times. It might look like that if you zoom way out and look at it in decades. Perhaps. But really, it's more organic than that. And so that requires each of us to take responsibility for our practice. We have to know where our edges are. And for a lot of folks, that's actually the most vexing thing. We tend to lean into our strengths because, well, they're strong and they work, quote unquote. And we tend to lean away from the weak things because they kind of don't, or we don't even know they're there. And then Sangha comes in and says, hey, can you brush your teeth with your other hand? Have you ever tried that? Have you ever noticed you always brush your teeth with probably your dominant hand? Try tomorrow. Brush your teeth with the other hand and feel how left out your other hand has felt for all these years. It will be grumpy with you and say, what? And the right hand will be upset. Hey, what happened to my job security? And the left hand will say, this is not my gig. But it's like that with the paramitas. What does it mean to practice the Buddha Dharma? Once we've, stopped the bleeding, we're as much as we can, we're not doing harm. Again, I want to reiterate, there will come moments again where you need to go back and work on that one again. No kidding. No kidding. This simply means you're practicing. But there'll be times when more or less that's not so bad. So now how do I practice the Buddha Dharma? How do I actually practice the positive side of this? And here we have generosity, right? Moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, and spiritual powers. These are the deck of cards you get to play with as an awakening bodhisattva. And each one of those too, how you understand joyful effort will evolve, will change. You may perceive that this has to do with feeling giddy all the time about what you're doing, and at times you may and enjoy that, but that's not what it's about. It's not about some Buddhist false giddiness. Isn't that irritating? Those people are just so goddamn perky. Just stop that. Turn the perk down. I mean, it's okay in moments, but those people, I guess what I'm really talking about, you go into a certain store and the employees there are mandated to be, hello, may I help you? I feel so for these folks to have to go in and embody this mask. This is a human being. This is a person with struggles and joys like all of us, right? And they have to go in there and just make this mask of, hi. That's bad enough. Worse yet is when you put your own mask and you don't even realize you're doing it and you make yourself do that to yourself. No one's watching. Nobody cares. It's just you, baby. But still, hi. So if you're trying to do that in your zazen will erode that from you. You simply will tire of trying to manifest the perk the whole time, or the strength the whole time, or the anything, frankly. If you sit there long enough, it will be all ground away. And what a relief. What a relief. What a relief. No more doing. No more facade. No more fakery. No more haggling, bargaining, negotiating. Just simply relax into your being and trust it. You find yourself to be quite trustable. Isn't that amazing? Even when you're messing up. That's not what I'm talking about. your fundamental ground of being. This is where we must connect. And again, it's not a linear progression. You will have had moments in your practice where that is so clear and so palpable and so right there with you. And you will have other moments after that where you forgot all about it. And you're being a dumbass again. And that's okay too. It's not just okay, it's part of the practice, because then you notice it, see it, acknowledge it, let it go, turn back to the practice. Does that make sense? So whatever the barrier is, good for you. Excellent. If you don't have a barrier, just wait. It'll show up. Or pay closer attention and kind of get real. Aging, not apply to you? Do you ever notice that time is just relentlessly crushing everything? Have you had that insight yet? It's a scary one. The summers of youth seem to go on for aeons. And now you breathe twice and it's fall again. What's happening? It's a good question. So what do these precepts point to? This practicing the Buddha Dharma. What is the truth of actualizing good for others? Like really making it factual and practical and real world true. Like this temple we sit in. This is actually here. Because many people over many years put a lot of heart and love and sweat and tears and blood and anger and everything else into dealing with everything that needed to be dealt with for this floor to be here for you to sit on. But it's happened. It's actual now. So if your Dharma practice does not, I'm not saying you have to build buildings, but if your Dharma practice does not actualize in your life, then there's something lacking. This should not be, and it is not, simply a philosophical exploration of ideas. It should not be an esoteric and exotic weekend adventure that's kind of its own, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's not like that. It shouldn't be like that. What should be and what is that as you train and practice, it begins to actualize in your life. And it doesn't have to look overtly Buddhist. In fact, it really shouldn't. It should just look like a Buddha, the Buddha of you. You, Buddha. What does that life look like? See, that's the Buddha that only you can give life to. My teachers, my transmitting teacher, Myo and Roshi, cannot live my life for me. And I cannot live my life by trying to be him. Complete failure. Happily, he's a skillful teacher. Wouldn't put up with anything like that. Rather, how does Rinsen become Rinsen? And how does Dad really become Dad? And how does Jay become Jay? And how does the jazz guitar player actually really become that in a Buddha way? That's this particular package. Doesn't matter. What matters is your package, you, your mandala, your Buddha field. And again, it's not a linear progression. This is not a one and done. You don't get it all figured out and then that's happy, happy, happy forever. It doesn't work like that. Isn't that great? I would be remiss if, before we conclude, I didn't bring some attention to our memorial ancestor plaque. You see here beside me these two tables that we have. They floated around various places in the temple, but it seems they'll be living here for a while. The practice of honoring those who have died, and let's just say it, who have died, not transitioned the Rainbow Bridge or whatever, died. She died, right? Those ancestors of ours who have died. We take care of them. Now, you don't have to take these things literally to take them seriously, okay? But it's a serious thing to acknowledge the spirit of the deceased. It's very serious business because our life and our death is serious business. And so a big part of this, and that we'll see increasingly as time goes on, that when an ancestor's Memorial Day comes up, on that given Sunday, the plaque will come in and we'll go to one of these sides with their image. We'll include them in the dedication, and then it'll stay there for the week, and it'll conclude through the Saturday morning practice, which is particularly oriented towards honoring the ancestors. That's what Saturday mornings have become about in our temple schedule. And so throughout the entire week, we'll have Tenka's image and memorial plaque. You're certainly invited to offer incense and to have intentions for her and her family. And significantly then, at the end of that week, it goes back. We don't linger, we don't cling, but we do acknowledge. So probably, hopefully, each of us in turn, hopefully a long time from now, you'll be a plaque. And that's one of the big teachings of having these plaques. They really should all say, you too. And then as a reminder, now that you are lucky enough to have life, that you find yourself alive, able to make stupid mistakes, able to screw things up, able to learn, able to grow, may we take advantage together and practice the Dharma wholeheartedly. May it be so.
Beings are numberless, I bow you all for being here today. Are there any brief announcements? I will share one, just that we will have a meal after this, so please stay and chat and eat some good food.
Hi, I'm Sweet June. Today we take the wonderful space at the Appleseed and turn it into a real functional garden. To do that, we will need a lot of help. If you have any experience with using garden tools, erecting fencing, measuring things, and you just want to come and hang out in a beautiful space, please donate some time. We start at 2, and you can stay for any part of that time. I'll meet you on the porch at 2 o'clock, and then we'll proceed to go over and walk the trail from there. Thank you.
I'm Ada. I'm, along with Susan, the Team Dharma lead. So to give you a few updates, June 10th at 6 p.m. is our June meeting. So please attend that. I know your teams attended. That would be great. But the big thing that I wanted to talk about is July 8th. We are offering the teams a retreat. So it's about 5 hours of silent retreat time and play and fun and stuff like that to give them a taste of more like session life. So it's really like small. So most of them will be able to handle it if not, we're kind, we're not, be mean. So, but that's an overnight retreat. So if you know any teams that are interested in exploring the Dharma in that way, both like more formally and socially towards the end of the day, and sleeping over and all that fun, who's a very social I'm so excited. So get with myself or Frieza, there's some registration. So that's the big thing. So that's July 8th. Also, just a little teaser. We are at the moment coming up with a coming of age ceremony to our team starting in September. So that will be a 10-month-long program that will culminate with a ceremony for them to take the period recess. So keep that in mind, more details to come. But our big thing, July 8th, team sleepover retreat.
Thank you very much. Please restore the send out. Just so everyone knows how the meal works, there will be a gong when it's time to eat, and our meal chant cards will do a chant together, and then we'll line up to get food. Okay, well, carry on. Carry on. You're nervous breakdown. Carry on.
Small valve to cover that, and then when everything starts to settle, then you make the 3 gongs on the stretch. So it's the same thing that you're doing when we're all standing up to cover when the fishing goes to the. You're literally doing. You did that. So at the end of the week, okay, you did it right, which is everybody can stand for the sutra, you then went to the little cover of the bell until the officiant got to the sheet, and then you switched to the gong and you mixed the bell. So what I'm saying is, yeah, maybe it was that.